Well, hi again, Monster fans, and welcome to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. It's time for another edition of Monsters OT alongside my co-host, Brad Thiessen. I'm Tony Brown. We're proud to be with you guys on the Monsters broadcast home, Rock Entertainment Sports Network. Big show for you today. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the recent exploits of the club. We'll take a deep dive on the Monsters training and equipment staffs, take a look at a floor hockey program that the Monsters have recently launched across Cleveland. And of course, our Monsters alumni segment will be presented by True North Convenience Stores. But let's get started with headlines. All right, Brad, on headlines today, we're going to start with the Monsters' recent road trip to New York State, and it was highly successful. 3 games, 3 wins. Monsters have won 5 out of their last 6 and really starting to take flight here.
Yeah, a couple of huge divisional games. You know, those wins count just as much now as they do at the end of the year. So to be able to kind of take advantage of some of those wins right now is huge for the Monsters.
So on Friday, November 8th, the Monsters beat Utica 3-2 in a shootout. They followed that up with a short drive over to Syracuse, where the Monsters beat the Crunch 5-2. Then back to Utica on Veterans Day for a 4-0 victory. We'll talk more about that game in just a minute. But really, building momentum is key this time of year, Tease, but also kind of climbing the standings. And that's what Cleveland's doing now as you take a look at the North Division standings, all the way from 6th to 3rd place with those 3 wins.
Yeah, obviously Utica's a team that's kind of fallen on hard times to start the season here. So for the Monsters to get on them twice in this road trip, take advantage of those games and get those 4 points, that was big.
Yeah, Laval, certainly a team that is at the top of the division the way they're playing right now under Pascal Vincent. 9-2-0. That team's really been transformed. And you mentioned Utica on the other end of the spectrum, still without a win. 0-9-1-2. Not too much sympathy, but a little sympathy for those guys for sure. Monsters, though, happy to get those 2 victories. Let's talk about a group for Cleveland that's been highly productive lately, and that is the second line, Brad, as Dylan Gambrell, Owen Sillinger, and Rocco Grimaldi have really created some chemistry here, and as you can see, they're producing.
Yeah, Rocco Grimaldi coming down from that first line to kind of balance some of the scoring out for the Monsters, and it's really paid off for the coaches right now with that line really producing on this road trip.
Yeah, over 3+ combined points per game for that line in their last 6. And Gambrell recently had a lengthy point streak snap, but really just good to see the lineup kind of settling in the early stages of the season. Players want to play in a rhythm. They want to play in a familiar situation. And I think right now, with the lineup the way it is, everyone's getting a chance to do that. Keep things rolling now and talk a little goaltending. Why don't we, Tease? And both goaltenders for Cleveland, Jet Greaves and Zach Sawchenko, I think are coming off their best performances of the season so far. Jet is back to .500, 3-3-1 in 7 appearances, but a 27-save shutout on Veterans Day in Utica. And he's top 5 in the league now in saves, too. He's settling in.
Yeah, both those guys, happy for them to get those wins and the results on the road this weekend. At the beginning of the year, maybe felt like they were playing well, but not seeing the results as, just the way the games were going. So 2 veteran guys sticking with their game, trusting in their game, and now they're seeing those results.
Yeah, let's talk about Zach Sawchenko, too. He's 3-1 now, coming off, like I said, a great performance in Utica in that first game of the New York trip there. This is an experienced guy, somebody eager to play. For the fans who might not know, if you could, enlighten us on his situation last year and why being in Cleveland and in games consistently is a big boost for him.
Yeah, last year Zach unfortunately got stuck in a 3-goalie situation with Abbotsford, Vancouver's organization, and didn't play his first game until March last year and only got in 6 total. So I know he was super excited about the opportunity to come here to Cleveland to play with Jet Greaves and to be that kind of veteran guy and presence. And he's taken advantage of every opportunity that he's gotten so far to play this year.
All right, that'll do it for headlines, but before we take a break here, it's time to go in the room and hear from Monsters coaches and players with some sound that we captured prior to these recent games for Cleveland. Let's start with Trent Vogelhuber. He was in Utica prior to that Friday game on November the 8th, talking about Denton Matejchuk and the way that, while he is really doing well, he's still adjusting to life in the professional ranks.
It's an adjustment. This league is difficult. And he's carrying heavy load for us, and he's doing a lot of good things that you can see. Obviously, contributing on the score sheet is great, and I think he's still just filling in the holes of his game and trying to get a consistent 23, 24 minutes every night. Not an easy thing to do in a pro hockey game when you're playing against men. So room for him to continue to grow on just the consistency level, execution level, I think. But I mean, he's a first-year pro 20-year-old, so we expect a lot out of him. and he's delivering for the most part. He does everything at a high level, and we're going to continue to push him to do it at a high level just consistently.
So, Brad, obviously, he is putting the puck in the net. He's involved on the top power play unit, and he's doing everything well, playing a lot of minutes, too. But that doesn't mean it's an easy transition from junior to pro, even when you're skilled like that.
No, for sure. It's a huge change. Obviously, bigger, faster, stronger guys out here that he's trying to deal with. But he's been thrown in every situation and getting a huge experience. And that's what the American League is all about. You got a first-round pick who's coming in his first pro season, and he's getting all this great experience that's really going to pay off for him down the road.
He's really making it look easy, too. I mean, he's the kind of guy at 20 years of age where you look at him play and you'd think he was a veteran in this league just with his gifts, his natural instincts on the ice. All right, let's move along and hear from Coach Vogelhuber again. Now, this is prior to the next game. It was Saturday, November the 9th in Syracuse. And I asked him about Rocco Grimaldi, a guy that is obviously as talented as anybody in this league, led the league in shots last season and always involved offensively. But I asked him his thoughts on Grimaldi's game, and he was pretty blunt.
Yeah, I think I talked to him yesterday in morning skate. I think he had 7 shots through 5 games so far. And last year, I think he was 37 goals, led the league in shots. It's just not good enough for a guy that is as offensively gifted as him. We talked about it. He agreed, and I think he had 3 shots on his first shift, ended with 9. Didn't get rewarded with a goal, but we got a goal on a rebound as the result of one of his shots. So I want him in attack mode constantly because, he is as offensively gifted as anybody in the league. So we'll continue to work through some of the details, the way we want to do things away from the puck with him. He's just been here a small amount of time, but offensively, when he can play in that attack mode, think shooter, think goal scorer, it just makes us better.
Well, I like it. Vogelhuber and Grimaldi have a lot of familiarity. They played together once upon a time down in San Antonio, and Trent challenging his star forward there, and he responded. A couple of goals in that game against Syracuse, and I think it was 9 shots on net, so I think he got the message.
Yeah, I think you could see in those last few home games here before that road trip, he was pressing, and he was trying to do a little too much and be able to kind of find his game there on the road this weekend. He's an elite scorer in this league, and it was only a matter of time.
Yeah, they at the start of the season, Grimaldi and Fix-Wolansky, the two sort of dynamic offensive options, were on the same line. Splitting them up seems to have helped both the first and second forward lines for Cleveland. Sometimes it takes some time to get that recipe right.
Yeah, and there's only one puck on the ice, too. So sometimes with those guys like that, sometimes it works better when you split them up, and so far that's been the case here.
All right. Now, prior to the Veterans Day game, that was Monday, the 11th of November in Utica, back in Utica for that second game against the Comets, I talked to Max McHugh. Now, he's a rookie who had his first professional fight, by the way, in Syracuse, and I thought he did pretty well. He thought he did pretty well, too, against Max Crozier there. But I asked him what surprised him about this transition, not just with the hockey, but in terms of life when you're going from junior to pro. A lot of things change.
I think the big thing for me is just nutrition and taking care of my body. I think, I didn't really know how much, I needed to take care of my body until I came here. And, it's every single day, every morning, whether you're on the bike or foam rolling or, seeing T-Bone or Seth for treatment, it's huge for your body to make sure you're ready to go.
So, Tease, talking there about nutrition and taking care of your body, these are lessons that are really important, that sort of self-care that guys have to do to be at their best and to stay healthy throughout the season. And those are lessons you don't necessarily always learn at a young age. That comes with, getting into the professional game.
Yeah, coming back, from junior into pro, first time you're really living on your own. You're not with a billet family anymore. You gotta, the food's not in the fridge. You gotta make sure you gotta go get the food, and all those things are things that you gotta learn kind of on the fly. So for some of those junior kids, it's a bit of an eye-opening experience at the beginning of the season for sure. But Max has made a nice transition.
Yeah, he really has, and he's sort of found a home for himself, at least with the Monsters' current injury situation on the third line with Roman Ashan and Hunter McCown. Now, before we wrap up and take a break here, I just did want to take one moment and give big kudos to Roman Ashan because he came in, obviously, this season playing on a PTO contract and really had the best start to the season that you could imagine a player in that situation having. 7 goals, 8 points, and he earned himself, the hard way, an AHL deal. It's an awesome story.
Yeah, super happy for him. Obviously just a great guy around the room the past few years, and to be able to see him come back on a tryout contract and be able to earn that. I know the guys in the locker room, the coaching staff, everyone was super excited for him and happy to have him here for the rest of the year.
He's one of those guys that's a favorite in the dressing room, a favorite among the fans, and I just love it when you see a player refuse to be denied and take it into their own hands, as Roman did in earning that AHL deal. Well, with that, we'll take a quick break here on Monsters OT. When we come back, we're going to meet the guys who do all the real work around here, the Monsters equipment staff and athletic training staff. So that feature is coming up next, along with plenty more right here on Monsters OT, only on Rock Entertainment Sports Network. There are over 70 games in an American Hockey League season. It's a total marathon, and there are 4 individuals who do more heavy lifting, literally, to get the Monsters where they need to go throughout the campaign than anybody else. Let's meet the Monsters equipment and athletic training staffs.
You just never know on a given day what they're going to come ask you for, and that's one of the most exciting parts. It's kind of fun.
My biggest thing, the guys hear it all the time, teamwork makes the dream work. Maddie and Jer Bear, they're wonderful people. They're awesome to work with every single day. We're always the first ones in, and that could be after we just leave the game rink at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then we have to be back at the practice rink 6:30, 7 a.m. to get ready for the next day.
It's long days, every day is a different day coming in, so you never know exactly what you're doing that day. But it's always great coming in and being the last one out, because you know when you're there, you're getting your stuff done. And you might not be the first one out, but hey, you're still doing your job and you know you're prepared for the next day.
I mean, obviously it takes everybody to pull together to make the game happen. Players obviously are the most integral part of the game, and that's our job, is to make sure that they're healthy and get what they need to perform on a day-to-day basis. On a game day, yes, the hours can be definitely long. We get here, typically we're between 7 and 7:30. Morning skates at 10. By the time the guys get out of here and we reset, it's usually 12 or 12:30. Get a few hours of downtime, and then we're back here around 4 ready to go. Guys start rolling in. And that can go anywhere from them getting a treatment for an injury they're dealing with to just some general maintenance, which may require soft tissue work, stretching. As game time gets closer, then we're into taping them, and then the game obviously occurs. We're on the bench. Our biggest fears on game nights are always the catastrophic or horrific injuries, needing to backboard or dealing with some major cut or something to that extent, which we train and practice for as a medical staff. We actually did our on-ice training last night. We had all of our paramedics and doctors and game night staff here, so we can run through situations hoping that they never occur. And then the game ends, and post-game we're evaluating players, treating players, and then we turn around and do it all again the next day if we're playing back-to-back.
I think the athletic trainers, honestly, just the whole staff here, like everybody's really awesome, and like if we need something, everybody's really quick to jump in and help out. Obviously, we work really closely with Bowen and Seth, and if we don't have a good partnership there, then things get kind of tough, right? So it's been really great with them. They've been really good.
At the end of the day, again, we're all tight-knit. We spend a lot of time together, and we have good relationships because of it. And I think as long as we keep helping each other out when needed, I think nothing's ever going to change between that.
Every single one of these guys in this room have the utmost respect for us. They're wonderful to work with. They work so hard on the ice, and hockey is such a physical, tough, long sport, to where I get to see them deal with what they have to deal with on the ice, and it makes me want to push even harder in the training room to do what I have to do to make them be better, feel good, comfortable, and ready to go on the ice.
Well, Thiessen, I think it's really cool to take a look at those 4 guys, because they work so hard and they work as a team, and they do so in a way that fans just never really get to see. You see a little bit of it on the bench during game night, but you don't see them when everyone else gets to go to the hotel, when the bus pulls up there, when you get into town late. You don't see them having to go to the rink and do all that really hard work that allows the team to succeed. So good on those guys. They are really the engine that makes everything go.
Yeah, they do such an awesome job, and the amount of hours, like you said, that they put in is unbelievable. And really, they're the people who spend the most time with the players. They're around those guys all the time, and the players really trust them to be able to do whatever they need to be able to do their jobs the best they can. So just a real integral part of the organization.
Of course, Tom's been around for quite some time with the Monsters and in the Blue Jackets organization, and Seth, too, with his background with the Browns and UH. You've got Jeremy Lasko's a great story. He was a stick kid once upon a time for the Lumberjacks. Now he's got the head equipment manager job, and Matthew Wentz has been a great addition this year. So it's a great team and an important group of people that don't always get the credit that they certainly deserve. With that, we'll take another quick break. When we come back, we'll see what the Monsters are doing to help grow the game of hockey with floor hockey across the greater Cleveland area. That and plenty more coming up next on Monsters OT, right here on Rock Entertainment Sports Network. Welcome back, everyone, on Monsters OT here on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network with Brad Thiessen. I'm Tony Brown. So, Brad, right now let's talk about the Monsters' efforts to grow the game here in Northeast Ohio, and they've got a new way to do that with a brand new floor hockey program that is made possible in part by Pirani's Hockey World.
This season, the Cleveland Monsters are teaming up with Pirani's Hockey World for a new Monsters floor hockey program. The team will leave behind lesson plans, sticks, goals, balls, and pennies at 6 local schools to help teach the students about the great game of hockey. The program began at Cleveland's Campus International.
What we're going to do today is we're going to learn. So I brought 2 of my great friends with me who actually play hockey on the ice. And so they're going to help us just learn some new things. They're going to help us even with some stretches. And, sometimes you got to touch your toes and stretch yourself out.
All right, so Campus International is a K-8 school, K-8 IB school. In PE specifically, we really pride ourselves on making sure that the students are moving as much as possible. So when they come in, we'll start with the instant activity and then get into our various games for the week and for the day. But movement is our big thing, just teaching kids to love movement and to be lifelong movers. It's nice to be able to have the students draw some connections to their city and to kind of feel a sense of belonging. So when they hear the Monsters, they'll think, okay, they came into our school and taught us. It's very cool to be able to have a resource like this and be able to use it, and we're just very grateful for the equipment and for the time that you guys spent coming in and teaching our kids.
Does my blade ever come up above my knee? No, it stays low.
I think sports can teach everyone so much. It continues to teach me every day, and especially the youth. I think it's so important. It's a hook to kind of work together, try your hardest, try new things, and kind of get outside your comfort zone. So seeing that live is it's really special to be a part of and have kids just have so much fun with it.
Was it cool to get to play with actual Monsters players?
Yeah!
I mean, my favorite part was just seeing all the smiling faces. I think a lot of people knew what hockey was. I don't think they quite played or even how the hockey stick. So seeing just the joy that holding a stick, playing together brings, it really means a lot. And to bring it back to a place like this and have first graders just have so much fun with the game, it just means a lot.
Well, I love pieces like that, Brad, and I love initiatives like that because it shows how much the Monsters truly care about getting hockey sticks into the hands of kids that maybe otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to get to know the game. This is really important work.
Yeah, it's just an awesome way for an entry-level introduction to hockey and put a stick in hands, and who knows where it can go from there, right?
Absolutely, and good job by Hunter McCown and Justin Pearson helping out there too. Great sports, and all the Monsters players do a great job of helping support Cleveland's initiatives across the community. Of course, you can learn more about the floor hockey program and everything else online at clevelandmonsters.com. Before we take another break here on Monsters OT, wanted to remind you guys that you can deck the halls with Monsters hockey this holiday season. With packages starting at just $84, the Monsters holiday plan presented by the Cleveland Museum of Natural History is the perfect gift for that special hockey fan in your life. Choose any 4 Monsters home games plus receive a free Monsters knit hat, tickets to Disney on Ice, and tickets to the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. Upgrade your package to our Caesars Rewards Club to also receive all-inclusive food, beer, wine, and soda, and a Monsters fleece blanket. To learn more, visit the ticket sales kiosk outside Portal 8 when you next come to the Monsters game at the Fieldhouse, or visit clevelandmonsters.com holiday plans. So, great stocking stuffer there, Tease. Keep that in mind this holiday season. With that, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we will take a look at one of the greatest Monsters forwards, and he went on to an even greater AHL career after his time in Cleveland. It's our Monsters alumni segment, courtesy of True North Convenience Stores, and it's next on Monsters OT, only here on the Rock Entertainment Sports Network. Back one last time on Monsters OT here on Rock Entertainment Sports Network. Right now, it's time for our Monsters alumni segment brought to you by True North Convenience Stores. Fast, friendly, clean. Let's talk about TJ Tynan, a Calder Cup champion and another guy in a long tradition of sort of smaller forwards that have had great careers here with the Monsters.
Yeah, just a great player. A lot of fun to be his teammate. It's just one of those centermen that can do everything. A little bit of penalty kill, power play. Just gone on to a great career. Fun to even see him this year back in the NHL.
Absolutely, as he's in the Colorado organization right now, but almost 650 career American League games, three-time All-Star, a Calder Cup champion with the Monsters back in 2016, and not once, but twice he was named the AHL's most valuable player. So one of the greats, TJ Tynan, all the best to him. Great memories of his time here with the Monsters. Well, that's it for Monsters OT. We've got a lot of thank yous to hand out today to Jeremy Hawks and Leo Simone, the rest of our outstanding crew. Thanks to True North Convenience Stores. For Brad Thiessen, I'm Tony Brown. Thanks to you guys for watching. This has been Monsters OT. You'll only find it on Rock Entertainment Sports Network.